Okay, so I've shared the screen. Just confirm if you're able to see it. Okay. Are you able to see the screen, Nishu? Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get started. So here's the first question. Okay, so if 3b plus 1 is less than 10, which of the following cannot be the value of b? Okay, so let's just find what b is. 3b plus 1 less than 10. So 3b is less than 10 minus 1. That basically is that b is less than 3. Okay. Now b should be less than 3 since E option says b is 3, right? So this cannot be b, and this is what we were asked to find. So E is the answer, right? Be very careful. This make sure that you know if you have to find cannot or except. Okay, these words are very important. All right. Every other value can be b because all of them other than the E option are less than 3, but E is 3, and this basically is telling us that B should be less than 3, right? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If 2 to the 4x equals 16, then, okay. Now we need to find x, and we know that we cannot find x this way. Our basis should be same just so we can compare the power, okay? So we have, and you are allowed to use calculator in this part, okay? This has been mentioned. Okay. So, all right. This equals 2, 16 can be written as 2 to the 4. And now I can compare the powers. So 4x equals 4 and x equals 1. All right. So A is the answer. Now, initially, you will see that the starting questions are very easy and their difficulty level or their level of difficulty is E. That is easy, right? They are not difficult. But once we're done with some questions, the difficulty level will change to medium and then high. So don't waste your time for such questions, okay? All right. How much greater than r minus 2 is r plus 5? Okay, so first you need to understand this question, okay? You need to find how much greater than r minus 2 is r plus 5. So for this, you have r plus 5, think of it as a number, minus r minus 2. So that is going to be r plus 5 minus r plus 2, r and r would be cancelled and we're left with 7. So easy answer. So basically, if we add 7 to r minus 2, we are going to get r plus 5. Okay. All right. Let's talk
Ma'am,
about, yes,
you did that.
sorry.
I don't understand how you did this question.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. How much greater than r minus 2 is r plus 5? Okay. Think of r minus 2 as, let's say, 1 and r plus 5 as 8. Okay, so let's say you have any two numbers, and you need to find that how much greater than 1 is 8. Like basically 8 is the greater number. You need to find how much greater is 8, right? How much greater is 8? Just cut this and now read the statement. How much greater is r plus 5 than r minus 2? So let's say if I ask you how much greater is 8 than 7, how would you do that? You will simply do 8 minus 1 and you will get 7, right? Just rewrite the question and think of the question this way. How much greater is r plus 5 than r minus 2? Okay. So basically they're saying that r plus 5 is the bigger number, r minus 2 is the smaller number. You need to tell that how much greater is r plus 5. So if I ask you how much greater is 8 than 1, how do you do that? You simply subtract, you do 8 minus 1, you subtract 1 from 8. So this is the greater number, this is the smaller number. You subtract the smaller number from the greater number to get the difference. and the difference is 7, right?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so, right. Let's talk about the fourth question now. Okay. If the rectangular box with no lid shown above is cut along the vertical edges. Okay, so think of a rectangular box, okay, and you first have to cut it along the vertical edges, right? Do you understand what the vertical edges mean? Okay, so basically think that this is your rectangular box. Okay, just a second. I'm sorry, I need to show you the actual box. We have that in question. All right, this is the box, right? This is the box, and you cut it along the vertical edges. These are the vertical edges, okay? All right, so if the rectangular box with no lid shown above is cut along the vertical edges and flattened. So once you have cut it along the vertical edges, you can flatten it. Which of the following figures best represent the result? So this is a simple question. Think of a rectangular box like this and imagine that you have cut it along the vertical edges, right? And now once you have cut it along the vertical edges, you would know that this is what you're going to get. Because if you, join these sides again, if you choose this, this, and this side, and again you try making it like the box, you would be able to make the same box, right? So here 2 is basically the height, but now since the box is flattened, here we have 2, right? And then this is 4, so this is also 4. So two sides would be 4 and 3, 3 and 4. We have two sides 4 and 3, and the height is 2. So since this is a flattened version of the actual diagram in E, but if you make it again like the diagram given, this one, you would know that the height of the box would be 2 because these dimensions are 2, right? Are you clear with this, Ishal and Zahir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ishal is back now. All right. Ishal, can you hear me? Ishal, are you with us? Ishal, can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, sorry, ma'am. I'm having issues with my Wi-Fi, so I joined with my phone.
Yeah, okay, that is not a problem. So, did you understand this question, or I should explain it again? Or should I
I
explain?
just joined
Okay, okay, okay.
again.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so after the third question, we are on fourth question now, okay? All right, so the question is, if the rectangular box with no lid shown above is cut along the vertical edges, think of, I'll now write it with red color just so you understand. Okay, now this is the box, this is the rectangular box, and you need to cut it along the vertical edges. So these are the vertical edges, right? These are edges and they are vertical. So just imagine that you have cut these vertical edges and you have flattened your box. Okay, like initially it was a box, but once you have cut it into the vertical edges, you can flatten it, right? Which of the following figures best represent the result? Okay. Now, I don't know if you are like used to doing any arts and craft activity, but if you have a chart paper and you try making a box out of it, this is what you need to get in order to get a box, right? So just think that you had this rectangular box and you have cut it along the vertical edges and flattened it. So it would look like this E. Okay, you can check that by picking up paper simply. If you cut it like this, like the E option, and then you join it, only then you would be able to get the rectangular box. So clearly, A and B are not the options, okay? Whatever it would be a plus shaped figure. This is certain, right? Like we know that for making a rectangular box, we need to cut the chart paper in this form. And then you pick up this side, this side, this side, and this side, and you get your box, right? So are you clear that why A and B cannot be the answers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's think about C. Now here C is saying that this side is 2. However, that is not possible. 2 is the height, okay? If we had 2 here, then yes, this could have been the answer. But since they're saying that this side is 2, like this side is 2, if this side is 2, it implies that they're trying to say that this side is 2 and this is 4. This diagram is basically saying that the height, the vertical height would be 4 and one of the side dimensions would be 2. So this is not the case, right? Again, here we have 2 here, but we need 2 here because only then, like just imagine you will pick this side up and this would be the vertical side. This would be the vertical side, this would be the height, and this should be 2. So clearly E is the answer because in E only we have 4 here, right? 3 here, so we have 2 dimensions correct, and 2 here. If 2 is here, this means that this is the vertical height. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Did you understand this?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about the fifth question now. In the figure above, a path from point A to D is determined by moving upward or to the right along the grid lines. Okay, so basically this is A and this is D. You need to go to D part by moving this way, and stuff like that. Okay, so far we have just understood this part of the question. Okay. How many different paths can be drawn from A to D that do not include either B or C? So we need to go from A to D without going to B and C points, right? Okay. So one option could be that we go this way, this, and this, right? So this is one. Then I'll draw it using a different color. Okay, so let's say again I go this way, then I can go this way, right? This is 2. Now, since this is a symmetrical diagram, again, I don't have to do it like count it again. Like today I came because I'm not sitting in exam. But since the diagram is symmetric, I know that if I have 2 ways of going to D from A this way, I would also have 2 options this way because the diagram is symmetric. And then again, I can go from here to here. So I will have this. So we have 4 options, okay? So the question was to go to D from A, we had to go from A to D without touching B and C. The diagram is symmetric. We only need to calculate for one side and we have to multiply it by 2 because same would hold for this side as well since the diagram is symmetric, right? Are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, okay, let's talk about the sixth question now. If 3 by 7 of n is 42, what is 5 by 7 of n? First, we need to understand this mathematically, okay? So 3 by 7 of n is 42, right? Is this what this English means mathematically? Right, Zahir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we need to find n. So n is going to be 42 into 7 divided by 3, right? This is what our n is. And in this part, yes, you can use the calculator, but we are going to, cancel it out just so we are good at mental maths as well. All right, now we have 14 into 7, right? N is 14 into 7. This is what we need. Okay. And we need to find 5 by 7 of n. 5 5 by 7 of n. Okay, so n is 14 into 7. Right, I need to find this, right? So 7 and 7 can be cancelled. And yes, now I can use my calculator to find 5 into 14. That is basically 70. So A is the answer. But you should be able to do it directly without calculator, because in the other parts, you would not be allowed to use calculator. So it's really good that you practice this part as well, like without calculator. Okay, are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the 7th question now. The figure above shows, we're talking about this figure, the top view of an open square box. Now, this is a box that is divided into 6 compartments. Okay. All right.
Ma'am,
Yeah. Yes.
it's not showing question 7 on my screen. It's showing question 9.
Look, I think
Like
because
9 and
you
10.
are okay. Wait.
Oh, okay, wait. Yeah, no, it's fine now.
Okay. Can you see the question now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So basically, the figure above shows the top view of an open square box. Now, this is the box they're talking about, and it is divided into 6 compartments. We can see that as well, right? A, B, C, D, E, F. We have 6 sections with walls of equal height. Okay. Each of the rectangles D, E, F, D, E, F has twice the area of each of the equal squares ABC. Okay. So basically what they are saying is that DEF is twice the area of ABC. So this is what they're saying. Now every square in the square box is of equal size. Initially we had ABC and DEF, but since DEF has twice the area as of these squares, so I just simply divided DEF into 2 parts. Okay, why, you'll just get to know. Okay, when a marble is dropped into the box at random, it falls into one of the compartments. What is the probability that it will fall into compartment F? Okay, now I agree that we have not studied probability, but we will study that in chapter 8, but still this question can be done, okay? Like we know how we calculate probability. We basically find a ratio where in the denominator we have the total possibilities, and in the numerator we simply, see particularly the probability that the marble will get into F, right? Like, do you know how to calculate probability? I'm not able to explain it this way, but you know how we do it? Like in the denominator, we have
Yes,
total
ma'am.
number of
Total.
options, right? Whatever you say, like we have total in the denominator, in the numerator, we have the options for F only. So basically, it is a ratio of this form, right? Zahib, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the question says, what is the probability that it will fall into compartment F? So total is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 sections. And out of these 9 sections for F, we have 1 and 2, right? So this is how we calculate probability. In the denominator, we have total, and the numerator, we have the boxes that are for F only. So 2 by 9 is the answer. So E is the answer. Are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Let's talk about the 8th question now. Okay, all right. Now just think of this question. Okay, if A and B are odd integers, okay, think of A as any odd integer, let's say 3, and B is 5, okay? Which of the following must also be an odd integer? Okay. Now you're doing A plus 1, any, let's say 3 plus 1, that is basically 4 into 5, right? So this is whenever you multiply an even number with an odd number, because 3 plus 1 is going to be even number, right? So obviously you are going to get 20. This is 20. So obviously this is an even integer. So I cannot be the option, right? So A cannot be the answer and B cannot be the answer. Did you understand? Whenever you add 1 to odd, it becomes even. And whenever you multiply even number with either even or odd, you get even answer. Think of it as 2 into 2 is 4, right? 2 is an even number. So if you're multiplying it with an even number, you're getting even. Think of an even number, let's say 2, you multiply it with 3, that is odd, you again get 6. This means that whenever you multiply an even number with either odd or even, you get even, right? So this is going to give even. All right, the second option says a plus 1, that becomes even plus odd. So 4 plus 5, 4 is basically the even number which we get after adding 1 to the odd, and 5 is the odd number. This is 9, right? So this is odd. 2 is odd. And again, if we subtract any odd number with from even number, let's say we have 4 and we are subtracting 3, so we get 1, which is an odd number. So clearly 2 and 3 are giving us odd integers, right? So E is the answer. So are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about ninth question now. Okay. The following number above consists of only ones and zeros to the right of the decimal point. Okay, so this is the decimal point, and after this decimal point, to the right of this decimal point, we only have ones and zeros. Okay, this is obvious. The first one is followed by 0. Okay, the second one is followed by 2 zeros, and then the third one is followed by 3 zeros. This is what we have. Like we have 1, then we have 1 0, then after the second one we have 2 zeros, after the third one we have 3 zeros, and after the fourth one we have 4 zeros. Okay, they're just trying to explain what the figure is. Okay, what is the total number of zeros between 98 and 101 1 in this decimal number? Okay, now you need to find the number of zeros between the 98th one and 101st one, right? So are you clear with the question? Like here we have okay, so basically I'll zoom it in. Ichal, can you see it? Like, yeah, can you see the question now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, fourth one, and fifth one, right? And the question says, what is the total number of zeros between the 98th one? So you will go on like this, and there would be a time, there would be a point when you will get 98th one and the 101th one in this decimal number. Okay. So first you will get 98th one, and then you will get 101th one. Right, okay, that is clear. But you need to understand the trend. The trend is that after first one you have 1 0, after second one you have 2 zeros, right? This is second one, so you have 2 zeros. This is third one, so you have 1, 2, 3 zeros. Fourth one, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So this is clear. After 98 one, you will have 98 zeros, right? So you will have 98 zeros after the 98th one. And what you need to find is the number of zeros between 98 and 101. After 98th one, you will get 99th one, right? So again, after 99th one, you will have 99 zeros. And after 99 zeros you will get 100th one. So after 100th one you will get 100 zeros, and after these 100 zeros you will get 101 one. So you had to find between 98 and 101, so you will not include those zeros because they will come after that one, and you're talking about the zeros before the 101th one. Are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
So now you have to add all this. If you add 98, 99 and 100, you get 297. Okay, so this is the answer. So the only thing here you need to understand was the pattern. After first one, you're getting 1 0. After second one, you're getting 2 zeros. And they have also mentioned that here clearly, right? So you know that like the number of zeros is basically depending on the number of one. If it is at the fourth place, after fourth one, you will get 4 zeros. So after 98th one, you will get 98 zeros. And here you need to find till 101. So that would include 98th one, 99th one, 100th one, 100th one. And simply you need to add all those zeros, so you will get 297. Zahib, is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is, okay, sorry. This is the 10th question. If f of x is 3 minus 2x square over x for all non-zero x, what is f of 2? Like this is very simple. You simply need to plug in 2 instead of x. So that would be 3 minus 2 into 2 square divided by 2. That is going to give 3 minus 2 into 4 by 2. This is 3 minus 8 by 2. So this is basically minus 5 by 2. So D is the answer, right? So this question was very easy. Okay, I hope it's clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we have the 11th question. Oh, sorry. Okay. So this is the question. Okay, this is the 11th question, right? In the figure above, okay, I want you guys to do this question. Please, Ishal and Zahib, try this question. I'll give you 2 minutes, okay? But I would suggest to read the question carefully first and then tell me the answer.
C is the answer.
And Zahib, what about you?
It's A.
Okay, excellent. Zahib is right. Okay, I'll tell you. All right. So basically, what you need to see here is that like apparently Ishal's answer was correct. Okay, this is what anyone would have said, because like it looks like M, the line M is perpendicular to the line N, and if two lines are perpendicular, we guess that the angle would be 90. But here you need to see that figure is not drawn to scale, and they've written that in the figure above, L is perpendicular to N. Like if M was perpendicular to N, they would have mentioned that, right? And they're saying that X is greater than 90. Now this is a line. If X angle is greater than 90, we know that sum of angles on a straight line is 180, right? So if sum of angles is 180 and X is greater than 90, it means that Y would be less than 90, right, Ishal?
Yes, ma'am.
So A is the answer. Okay. Let's talk about the 12th question now. Okay. So here's the 12th question. In the xy plane, the line with equation y equals 5x minus 10 crosses the x-axis at the point with coordinates a, b. What is the value of a? Okay. Now, you need to find the value of a. You have one equation only, and you don't know what b is. Like without b, you cannot calculate a using this equation. Like if you plug in a and b directly, you will get b equals 5a minus 10, right? But you need to find a only. So for finding a, you need b. And what is b? B is given in the question. Where? This line is telling us the b. Crosses the x-axis, right? They're saying that this curve, this line, sorry, this is a equation of a straight line. This line is basically crossing the x-axis at the point, at this point. So the coordinates of any point that is passing through x-axis would have, x can be like any number, but y is 0, because at the x-axis, this is x and this is y. If a line is basically going like this, so here y is 0, right? At this point, x can be any number, but y is 0. So this means that this b is basically 0. So we will use 0 instead of b. This equals 5a minus 10. And now we simply need to find a, right? So a is 2. So D is the answer. Are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So Zahib, are you clear with this as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now we need to talk about the 13th question. Okay. The table above shows the noon temperatures for 7 cities designated A through G. Okay. So these are 7 cities. These are 7 cities. And here we have their noon temperatures. If the median noon temperature of these cities is 40, then the noon temperature for city D could be any of the following except. Okay, here they're talking about median for this data. First, let's talk about what median is. Okay, so we have discussed median, and the very first condition for finding the median is to arrange the data in ascending order. Okay, so let's just do that first. We have 27, then we have 33, then we have 40, then we have 44, 50, and 68. Okay, so these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values. So this T is missing, okay? And we don't know where this T is going to come. What we know is that 40 is the median, right? So this is the median. Okay, and what is median? Median is basically the middle value. So if we have 3 values after 40, it means that we should have 3 values before 40. So the only thing we can determine from this information is that the noon temperature of D city, that is T degrees, would be less than 40. T would be less than 40. It can be greater than 33. It can be less than 33. It can be greater than 27. It can be less than 27. We are not sure about that. The only thing we know is that 40 is median. If 40 is median and if we have 7 values, it means that after 40 we should have 3 and before 40 we should have 3. Okay. So these are the options. 29 degrees. Yes, 29 could be an option. We need to find except. Okay. 35 could also be an option, right? But E cannot be the answer because it is 42. It is greater than 40. If it is greater than 40, it means it is coming somewhere here. And then clearly 40 cannot be the mean. So E is the option, right? Are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this 14th question now. What is the parameter of the above figure? Okay, so whenever we're finding parameter, we basically have to sum up all the sides. This side is 6. We know that we have this side, we have this side. We need to find this side and we need to find this side. Okay, and how are we going to find these sides? By thinking of it as a triangle. So if this angle is 30, this would be 60. If this angle is 30, this would also be 60, right? And then this would also be 60. If this side is 6, this side would also be 6. Now using the angle side relationship, every angle is same. This is an equilateral triangle. If this side is 6, this side would also be 6 and this side would also be 6, right? So for finding the parameter, we need to basically add all the sides of the diagram. So this would be 6 plus 6 plus 6, right? 1 6, 2 6, 3 6, 4 6 and 5 6. So we have 5 sixes. You can either add them or you can simply multiply 5 into 6. So that would give you 30, right? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So 15th question. Okay. If m is the greatest prime factor of 38 and n is the greatest prime factor of 100, what is the value of m plus n? Now, whenever you have been asked to find a value of something, like, they want you to find m plus n, and all the options are numerical. So this means that you need to find m and n first, right? Now think of 38 and think of 100 and think of all the prime numbers you know. So basically, this is 100. So prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and so on. Okay. Now these are some of the prime numbers we know. And think of 38 now. Okay. So one thing is very obvious, that 38 divided by 19 is 2, right? We know that. Like 9 into 2 is 18. So that this 8 is basically making us think of that 19 could be a factor of 38. And if we multiply 19 to 2, because calculator is allowed in this part, you would know that it is a prime factor, right? Okay, now the thing is that you need to think of greatest prime factor. Since 19 into 2 is 38, like 19 is the half of 38, you would not be having any factor greater than 19 other than 38 itself. Like you would have, but like in case of prime factors, right? Once you have 19 into 2, the next factor would be 38, right? Into 1. So this means that 19 is the greatest factor. So m is 19. And if you think of 100, you know that 100 has a 0 at the end. So it would be divisible by 5. It would be divisible by 2, right? And it would also be divisible by 4, like if you think of it that way. And the prime factors, like the prime factors we have in our options, 2, 3, 5. So clearly we are talking about the greatest prime factor. So 5 is the greatest prime factor. So n is going to be 5. If you add these two, you get 24 because you were asked to find m plus n. So C would be the answer in this case. So is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ishal, is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Now we have 16th question. Line L has a positive slope and passes through the point 0, 0. Okay, so let's just plot the information. This is the point 0, 0. It has positive slope. It is a line. So clearly it would be of this type, like not exactly. It should pass through 0, 0. It is going to be of this type. Okay. And this point is 0 and 0. Okay. If line K is perpendicular to L, now we have another line that is K, and that line K is perpendicular to L. Now, the only thing that we have been told is that L and K are perpendicular. So it could be that this is L. It could be that K is over here, K is over here, here. So it can be anywhere, but it would be perpendicular, right? And all these pink ones are K. Okay. Which of the following must be true? Line K passes through 0, 0. Yes, it could be that the line K passes through 0, 0, but it is not mandatory. It is not something that is given. It is not something that we would have in every case. Like we have many possibilities for K, right? So yes, one of the possibilities could be that it passes through 0, 0, but it is not must. So A is not the answer. K has a positive slope. No, that is not possible because L has positive slope. And if let's say M is a line and M dash is a line, sorry, M is the derivative of a line, let's say this line, and then we have M dash, that is the derivative of a line that is perpendicular to this line. So we know that it is going to be -1. So if the derivative of M dash, in our case, this line is K and this line is L. So L has a positive derivative. L has positive derivative and we want that their product is negative. Negative product is only possible if this line has negative derivative. So this means that K would have negative derivative since L has positive. Because these two lines are perpendicular and in mathematics, this relationship has been defined. Right, we will discuss this today as well, like today in coordinate geometry we'll discuss this, but still, like, through A levels you know that this is the relationship which two perpendicular lines have. So the line K has a negative slope. C is the answer. Is this clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, now we have the 17th question. All right, so let the operation this be defined by this. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but when I was in my A2 and AS, like in A levels, I did not study about these operations. I studied all of this when I was doing my bachelor's in maths, right? So this is what like we have in maths, and don't worry about this because everything has been told in the question, right? So this operation is defined this way. If you have A arrow B, you have two numbers with an arrow between them. This is how you do it. Okay, so you write the first number, you write plus, you write second number, then first number, minus sign, and you have B. Okay, so this is how you define this operation. They have defined it for you, and you have many operations of this type, and they would vary from question to question. So whenever you have been asked something of this sort, they would define the operation. Okay, so A is not equal to B, obviously, because then we will have 0 in the denominator. Okay. If 1 arrow 2 equals 2 arrow x, what is the value of x? Okay, so for this, we simply need to find what 1 arrow 2 would be by using the defined operation. So we have 1 plus 2 divided by 1 minus 2. This is how I'm going to write this. This equals, because this is what we have in the question, equal sign. And then we need to find 2 arrow x. That would be 2 plus x divided by 2 minus x, right? Okay. And now we simply need to cross multiply this. So 1 plus 2 is 3 into 2 minus x equals minus 1, 2 plus x. This is 6 minus 3x equals minus 2 minus x. So this is going to be 6 plus 2 equals 3x minus x. And finally, we are going to get 8 equals 2x. So x is 4. So A is the answer. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we're done with the 17th question. Yeah, okay. All right, now this is an important question. Okay. Let me just first rub all this. Okay. All right, so the question is, during a sale, a customer can buy one shirt for X dollars. Okay. Each additional shirt the customer buys costs Z dollars less than the first shirt. Okay. For example, the cost of the second shirt is X minus Z, right? Because X is the first shirt. So every shirt is for X dollars. Each additional shirt the customer buys costs Z dollars less than the first shirt. Okay. Which of the following represents the customer's cost in dollars for N shirts bought during the sale? Okay. First of all, you need to understand the question. The question says, during a sale, a customer can buy one shirt for X dollars. So let's say we have a customer who bought one shirt only. Wait, okay, so we have to do it for at least 4 shirts. So I need to have good space for this. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's say there's a customer who's buying one shirt only. He would pay X dollars because one shirt is for X dollars. Then there's a customer who's buying two shirts. So if he's buying two shirts, first for the first shirt he is going to pay X, and then for the second shirt, each additional shirt the customer buys costs Z dollars less than the first shirt. So X minus Z, right? This is the first shirt, that is X minus Z. Okay. Then let's say there's a customer who's buying three shirts. So first shirt would be for X dollars. Then the second one would be for X minus Z dollars. Then there would be a third shirt which would be for X minus Z dollars as well. Why? Because the question is saying each additional shirt. Like after the first shirt, every shirt is for X minus Z dollars. It is Z dollars less than the first shirt. So this English basically means X minus Z. Okay. All right. So we are clear till here. Okay. So let's say we have a customer who has to buy 4 shirts. First shirt would be X. Then each additional shirt is for Z dollars less than the first one. So this is going to be X minus Z plus X minus Z plus X minus Z. Okay. Now you need to understand the pattern, right? When the customer is buying 2 shirts, he is paying X and X minus Z. When the customer is buying 3 shirts, he is basically paying X and 2 into X minus Z. Okay. When the customer is buying 4 shirts, he is basically paying X, and with X, he is paying 3 times X minus Z. So when the number of shirts was 4, we have 3 here. When the number of shirts was 3, we had 2 here. And when the number of shirts is 2, we have 1 here. This means that X is same, we have X everywhere, but this number is changing, right? For this number, we are having N minus 1. If the number of shirts is 3, we have 2 here. If the number of shirts is 4, we have 3 here. So this implies that A is the answer, because here we have N minus 1 and X minus Z, right? X is same, X minus Z is same. This number is something which we had to guess, and by looking at the pattern, we can see that if number of shirts is 2, we have 1. If number of shirts is 3, we have 2. If number of shirts is 4, we have 3. So every time we have N minus 1 over here, right? So this is why A is the answer. Are you clear with this?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So I want you guys to try this 19th question because we have studied circles. I can give you 3 minutes, okay? Because this question also had the difficulty level H. Okay.
Ma'am, the answer is A.
Okay, and Zahib, are you done as well?
I think it's D.
B. Okay,
D.
so D. Okay,
D. Yeah.
so all right, so this time Ishal is right. Okay, so let's do it together. Okay, so in the figure above, QR is the arc of a circle with center P. If the length of arc QR is 6 pi, what is the area of sector? So we need to find the area of the sector, right? We need to find area of the sector. For this area, we need this angle which has been given, and we need the radius, but we do not know the radius. For finding the radius, we need to use this arc length. So the formula for finding arc length is the central angle, that is 30, divided by, since this angle is in degrees, so we divide it by 360 into 2 pi r. Okay, so 0 and 0 can be cancelled, and this is basically equal to 6 pi, right? So this is 6 pi. So we can simply cancel 6 pi by 3 and 2 pi. So we are left with r equals, this 36 can be taken to the other side. So we will get r equals 36. Now we have r, and we need to find the area now. So for finding the area, we simply have to do 30 divided by 360 into pi r square. So basically r is 36, right? So 30 divided by 360 into pi. Again, I would advise to use 36 into 36, because yes, in this part you can use calculator, but still you should know these tricks, okay? And you can cancel the 0 with 0. So now you have pi into 36 into 3. Okay, that is 108. Okay, so A is the answer. So Zahib, are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Very good. Okay, now we have the 20th question. This is the last question. Okay. There are 75 more women than men enrolled in the Linden College. If there are n men enrolled, then in terms of n, what percent of those enrolled are men? Okay, so we need to find percentage. Okay. Now we know that we have 75 more women than men. So we have n men that has been given. So obviously for women, we can write 75 plus n. Now to find the percent of the enrolled men, we have n men divided by 75 plus n into 100%, right? So D would be the answer. Is this clear? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
just a second. Sorry. We have to write n in the denominator because, okay, I'm sorry. Right. Because this is what I was thinking. The answer is E, and how can I get D? Okay. So basically, whenever we need to find percentages, in the denominator, like probability, we will have the total in the denominator, right? So we have 75 plus n for women, and for men we have n. So we need to write 75 plus n, just so we have the total population. And now that would be n divided by 75 plus 2n. So E is the answer, right? Is this clear, Sahib and Isha?
Yes, ma'am. Understood. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So Zahib, are you clear with this as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that is perfect.